What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Hardwood show for some Monday night hoops, and we got a big slate. Anytime we have a big slate, we know what that means. There's going to be a ton of news. I'm sure we'll get some news as this show goes on. I already got some that just trickled in. George Hill's out, so we'll cover it all throughout the show. But before we hop into the slate, got to talk to our boy Title. I mean, man, what was up with that field goal? Like that has to be one of the most egregious field goals in playoff history.
Yeah, I mean, we Packers did not deserve to win that game. They got outplayed in pretty much every phase, but coaching wise, I mean, I think that was the worst field goal attempt in the history of the NFL. And then you see the game after McDermott, the Bills, they do the same thing and they take 3 against Mahomes. I don't understand how some of these coaches get paid millions and millions of dollars to give the team a worse chance to win than they already had. Man coverage at the end of the first half. Just get ran right by for the touchdown. It was very, very hard to watch, but the Packers did not deserve to win that game.
No.
They didn't at all. They got outplayed. It was very sad, very hard to watch, but the Super Bowl is going to be good to watch. Obviously a huge Packers fan, but football, Brady, Mahomes at the Super Bowl, it's going to be a lot of fun, but definitely very sad. But basketball's on this week, so we can always make some money.
Yeah, a full slate of games throughout the week, but that was I just don't get what these coaches. I don't mean to say I'm smarter than these coaches, but that's like common sense stuff. I mean, you're literally they're down 8, right? And like the 5. I mean, a field goal literally does nothing, like absolutely nothing. Tony, I'll bring you into the conversation. I'm sure you kind of have the same thoughts as me on this, like these field goals, especially, the one with the Packers was egregious, but for the Bills to continue to kick field goals against the Chiefs, no defense has slowed down the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs are going to continue to score. I don't know how you take 3 on 3 different occasions.
Yeah, it's just egregious. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's so tilting too, because I'm in this group chat with a bunch of the old football coaches from high school that coached me and have coached for 25 years. Great dudes, some of my best friends in this world. But they just tilt the shit out of me because they they always argue with the punts, they always argue with the field goals, and they're just like old school coaches, and it makes it that much more tilting because it's just egregious. It's painful. I mean, and then the play before it, Rodgers should have had a touchdown if he runs. If he runs, doesn't get in, he's close. If he does, if he gets stopped on the 1, they're definitely going. They're not kicking no matter what from the 1. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't run on that play.
I mean, I don't think he would have. I think he would have got get to the 5 or something. I think Rodgers expected that they were going to go for it because he said it wasn't my decision, the time and all that.
I don't like that, by the way, either, though. I hate how he pushed it on the coaches a little bit. I hate when guys do that.
In most scenarios, in most scenarios, I agree with you. But that one, I mean,
no matter what, everyone already knows everyone's on his side. Just take the sword. Just fall on the sword.
I wanted to see Rodgers when they sent out the kicker. I wanted to see Rodgers go to LaFleur because Brady, I give him props. I don't give Brady too much props. At the end of the first half, they were going to punt the football. Brady went up to Bruce Arians. They said Brady liked to play, and a good coach trusts your quarterback. I mean, Rodgers is clearly the best guy on the team. I wish Rodgers did do something, go up to LaFleur and be like, this just doesn't make sense. And he didn't do that at all. So, but I mean, I don't know what LaFleur was thinking. There was no, I was saying this whole time, the whole drive, as probably everyone else was, this is 4-down territory. A field goal literally does nothing for you. If you don't get it, they're already backed up more. You have the 2-minute warning. You have to there literally was not one reason I could make a case for to kick that field goal. And I still can't.
You'd have to be down less than a touchdown. You'd have to be down 6. You kick the field goal, you get a 3 and out, and then you just need 30 yards down the field to get a field goal.
At least make a case.
Justify it. Yeah, you could justify it at 6. You could justify it all the way.
I still think
it would be terrible. It still would be terrible.
Not bad though, because then at least the field goal will tie it.
There's no arguing that, but how he and his reasoning, that's the worst. He gets on the podium, he goes, well, it's results oriented. When it doesn't work out, it's easy to say that it's the wrong. I'm like, that is the worst reasoning. Give the reasoning of why you actually, because I was like, what is he going to come up with? And that was the worst answer.
Arguments on the other side. I mean, you have, Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. If you have a shitty quarterback or, a mediocre quarterback, okay, yeah, maybe. I don't
Still
know.
not even
any situation. You got to go for the touchdown. It made no damn sense. it was tough to watch. And then, you go right to that next game, and the Bills the offense has been rolling, going up against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to score points, and they're right in there kicking the damn things too, 3 points at a time. And it was so funny on Twitter. Tony, I know you got in the mix. A lot of people did. Oh, now they're only down 3 field goals. Now they're only down 5 field goals. It's just, the mindset is just different. And like you said, with your buddies that, used to coach and stuff, it's a different day and age, man. Like in back then when you're when every team's pounding it with these big ass running backs, and okay, yeah, punting and field goals make sense. Look at the teams that are left. They're not pounding it up the middle with running backs. Like, you have to pass the damn football at a high rate. Most of these teams aren't even running the ball. So it's just the archaic mindset. And it's just sad to think that some of these coaches are still running their teams like that.
And they showed the stats today with Mahomes where he's punted 1 time so far in the playoffs. Like, you're not beating that with field goals. No. You're going to have to score touchdowns.
Man, it's wild. I know our boy AP is very excited. Big Chiefs fan. He's, the doubters have been coming at him. He's got some giblets stacked up.
Is there really doubters though against the Chiefs? Like, is that really true, or is it like one of those things like they try to pump themselves up? Like, no one believes in us. Like, everyone believes in you.
No, a lot of people were making plays against. I mean, you were on the Browns. A lot of people last round were on the Bills.
But it was more of a price thing. Like, I never was like, man, the Chiefs suck. Like,
just to back up the AP and the other people, you literally said you didn't need the points.
Yeah, because of the price. Again, the price, 3-1, which I almost won.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
anyhow,
if they stop them on 4th and 1, I win the game. So as a 3-1 dog.
But Mahomes got hurt, and I mean, there's
exactly,
stuff to
but things happen. That's part of the reason I said it in the bet, though. I said things. That's literally exactly my word. Like, stuff happens. Weird things happen.
That's
interesting. I already took the L's on this anyways. I took a big L on this. So
initial Super Bowl predictions, and then we'll hop into this NBA slate title. I'm going to go to you first. I mean, judging from your tweet earlier, I think I know which direction you're leaning here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I threw a good amount on the Chiefs, -3, -165. And I would add the Chiefs over the Packers too in the Super Bowl. I said it from the beginning. I just think this team, coaching wise too, that's the big thing. I mean, obviously Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek, but Andy Reid is the best coach in the NFL. He's puts faith into Mahomes, puts faith in his best players, doesn't need to punt the football. Like, he just gets it. That whole team it's a dynasty. Like, there's going to be many and many years, I think, that this team's going to be in the Super Bowl. And -3, I couldn't believe it. I think they're a touchdown favorite. I know a lot of people like Brady and are always going to give him a chance and stuff, but I love the line and I hammered it a lot. If anyone wants action, I'm still open for more. I think it's a Chiefs by a route.
Yeah, Tony, give us your initial thoughts and break down the line and any potential movement. I mean, I know you're really good at that stuff and understand how that works. So initial thoughts on the game, and then just talk about the number at 3 and how it could potentially move or stay where it's at.
Yeah, I agree with Title. Like, I'm going to be on Kansas City more than likely. I mean, I'm still going to let it process a little bit, see what comes in. But I don't think they can lose. I do think Tampa Bay is definitely the sharp side, but I'm just going to take my chance with Mahomes and the Chiefs. Believe me, though, if we lose, like, I'm not going to be totally stunned because I do think their defense is a lot better. I think Brady obviously has been here. I mean, this is his 10th Super Bowl. So he anything could happen with all those weapons. But I'm definitely going to be betting the Chiefs, and I'm definitely going to be betting the over too, which sucks because the Super Bowl is the most bet event of the year, obviously. Yeah. The lines are sharp. And I know for a fact I'm on the square side, which sucks. Like, I don't like being that way.
Welcome aboard.
I mean, it's not a good spot to be. I really think Tampa and the under's the sharp side, but I just can't pull the trigger. I just can't go against Mahomes in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. Not super surprised. I mean, for me, I agree. I think the Chiefs should be bigger favorites. It's sitting at 3, and in most books you kind of have to pay some heavy juice to get them at the 3. But I mean, I'm not betting against Mahomes. I can't do it. Tom Brady, I mean, he made some of those passes in that second half were not very good. I mean, he could have buried the Packers, didn't do it. You give the Chiefs that sort of situation on that big stage. They're gonna make you pay for it. So I'm on the Chiefs as well. Go ahead,
Brady,
Title.
I was gonna say Brady let the Packers in that game.
Yeah,
Like Brady,
yeah.
that they should not have had a chance, and like that game should have been over after Aaron Jones fumbled to start the second half, and you get that touchdown. Rodgers had plenty of chances in the fourth quarter in that game, and he did perform. So there's no excuse. But Brady, he gave away that game and let the Packers have a chance in it, and you can't do that with Patrick Mahomes. He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna let you back in a game. He's foot on the gas pedal. They don't need to run out the clock. I mean, they're airing it out to their best players. So, we'll see how it goes. It'll be a fun Super Bowl for sure, though, because there's always the Brady backers, there's always the Mahomes backers. Yeah. They're always going to argue and all of that. Hey, we'll see.
I will say, if Brady finds a way to win this one, I mean, that's man. Oh, yeah. I mean, that will be one of the probably the most impressive NFL career of all time. So it's the storylines are great. Looking forward to it. In terms of what you can expect from the Run Pure Sports team, we're going to have our normal Showdown content. Tony, myself will probably have a special guest on with us for our video breaking it down. We're going to have a lineup builder show. We're going to have a slate breakdown. We're going to have some sort of prop show. We're going to have some sort of betting show. Just developing the final pieces here over the course of the next 2 days. We'll have a schedule out and ready to roll, but most of it will kick off probably early next week and lead right up to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So, we have that promo code going right now. Workbench 21 gets you 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. It's Workbench 21. 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Got a decent number of people in here, about 420. So hit the likes, and after this first game or second game, we'll pick a number. If we get there, we will give away a piece of gear in terms of likes. Anything else before we hop in, boys?
Nope, not for me.
Let's roll. Okay, cool. So first game on the slate, we have the Hornets and Magic. The total's 213.5. This is one of those run back games. This was last night, I believe. I had the same one. Aaron Gordon was out last night. He's expected back. Ennis is questionable. On the Hornets side, they should have all their guys. It's the same situation. I mean, we've talked about the Hornets a ton. They're a tough team for DFS, especially on a full slate. We have full 10 games right now. One might get whacked out. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me, but we have the full 10. And the Hornets are just a tough team when they're healthy. They have so many guys that can contribute. They're all priced, up there for the most part. Gordon Hayward has had some big monster games this season. I can't imagine myself playing him. Vooch has a nice price tag on DK at 8.7K. But overall, this is a game that I won't have a ton of exposure to. LaMelo, his price tag's come down a little bit. I mean, it's gone up into the higher sevens range. Now it's at 6.9. Tony, I mean, the people missed you all last week, man. They're asking for a year back. I got to throw it to you first. Break down this, what to me is a crappy game.
Yeah, it's tough because we're back to like all season. We've got either the massive slates or the smaller slates, and they're just two different textures where if you lock these early guys in and news hits, you're in tough shape. Even like last night, where a lot of people didn't play, if you locked in early and then that info hit in Atlanta where those guys sat, you're just up against it, man. Like it's tough to overcome that value that pops up. And it's just a commitment to play NBA, which is why you need content sites like Run Pure and everything we offer, because you're just going to need to pay attention all night in the Discord. And that makes this game tough. Vooch played him last night. This is the same matchup as last night, right?
Yeah, the game was last night, yeah.
So, yeah, he was a great play last night, even cheaper. He didn't crush, but he still got like 45 fantasy points. Solid. He's always in play. Like, I have no issue whatsoever with Vooch. Basically any slate, you can always play him. No issue. I just don't know how much I'll play him just because it's an early game. I don't know if he has a ton of upside. He's fine. That's exactly what he is. Aaron Gordon has played a bunch of point guard, and he's definitely in play too at a super low ownership after he didn't play last night. Again, though, it's tough to play him. It's tough to lock these early guys. It also eliminates everyone else on Orlando for me. Charlotte side, they're just all priced right. I mean, you look up and down the list Hayward has had some big games. Still 7,300 though. I mean, nothing too crazy with that price. I just don't see any reason really to lock anyone in this game outside of Vooch and maybe Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it right, I mean, in terms of late swap and adjusting your lineup and whatnot, you have to feel really good about somebody early on in one of these early games to lock them in, especially the spends. Like if you feel really good about a value play, I don't think it's as big of a deal. But if you're going to spend a premium price tag on a guy, one of these earlier games, you have to feel really, really good about them. And I'm not seeing it in this game. Title, I'll throw it to you. Are we missing anything? Does anything stand out to you here in cash games or even in tournaments?
No, you guys hit it pretty much right on the head. Like Big T said, yesterday I was unfortunately one of those guys that locked in way too many people in my lineup. And then 2 minutes later, the Hawks news hits. And then your whole lineup is way worse than other stuff because you can't get Rondo or you can't get Hunter and stuff like that. And it just, you're at a massive disadvantage. So on a 10-game slate, especially with so much news and uncertainty, you don't need to target a game like this. But like you said, Vooch is the only guy I'm really interested in. DraftKings, he does have a good price tag. Yeah. So I think he's cash game and tournament viable in this matchup.
Yeah, he's the one guy that stands out. I think you can play. I do feel good enough about him, even in cash games, like just, getting there, hitting value. I think he's just one of the safer guys, honestly, most nights. As long as he doesn't have a massive price tag, he's typically right around this range where he should be. If I was going to put money on a guy to be within, X amount of value, a couple points of value, I'd probably bet on him because he's always there. He's always around 40, 42, 43, which at his price tag does not kill you. So he's the guy I feel best about. I don't see myself going anywhere else in this game. Let's head on over to the next
actually
one.
Shown. So while you guys were talking, I pulled him up just because I wanted to look closer. Like he's actually shown more upside than I realized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
53, 58, 69, 52. Like he's had some, he might be a sneaky play here in this spot. I do like him. He's a good play. It's just,
it's hard to be all that sneaky. He's popping up on a lot of projections and all that. So I think he actually will have a decent bit of ownership.
Yeah.
But still a good play. I mean, either way.
When he gets 55 early, you're going to be happy you had him in there.
Correct. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be mad at that point. The 55 pieces are nice to lock in, whether it's late or early. There's definitely no doubt about that.
Even if someone beats him, say someone comes and whoever, Jokic goes for 70, 55 still's not going to hurt you. Whatever. He's in there with a solid score.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We got the 76ers. We got the Pistons, 216.5 total. Philadelphia favored by 6.5. And the big news in this one is Embiid, who is questionable. And if he doesn't play, a guy like Dwight Howard would get a big boost. Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, this game's right out of the gate, so we'll get the news. I believe he's still questionable, right? Nothing's changed on that. Have you guys seen anything?
I haven't seen anything.
Nope, I still see questionable with the back.
Yeah. So we'll get the news obviously, and then if he's out, Dwight Howard's 4.2K probably would become the most popular play on the slate. On the Pistons side, I just continue to maintain my same stance with the Pistons. I don't play them unless I absolutely have to. That would typically be on smaller slates when we don't have as many options. We have 10 games tonight. I don't trust anything they do in terms of the rotation. I'm off the Pistons, and I guess maybe in tournaments you can make the argument for some of those guys, but for me, I'm going to be off this squad. If Embiid's in, I'm probably off the 76ers too. If he's out, like I said, that brings some of these guys in the conversation. Dwight Howard, great value play. Tobias Harris gets a boost. I think Ben Simmons gets a boost. So we really need the news in this one. But like I said, if Embiid's in, I'm mostly off it. If he's out, I'm going to have some pieces. Title, throw it to you first. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, you pretty much hit it. It's more of a tournament game if Embiid's in, I think, because again, it's an early game. Prices are pretty good, appropriate, and you just don't want to lock it all in. If he's out, Tobias, Simmons, Howard, they all become elite plays. On the Pistons side, I think you can make a case in tournaments for Mason Plumlee on FanDuel sticks out at 4,400. Better play on FanDuel. I like him more than DraftKings because of the stock upside and the price is good. So if you want a punt center, I think he'll be very low owned. Gets you a different roster construction, and then you can fill it out. So he has upside. I think that makes sense. Then on DraftKings, they're all priced pretty good. On a 10-game slate, I don't really have interest. If it was a lower slate, you could go Grant or DeLon Wright, 5,500, 7,800, but it's just a 10-game slate. I'd rather go to better game environments and wait for later news on that.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I'm not going to be on this, guys. I think ownership comes in really low on this game overall. Maybe there's some sort of edge in tournaments. That's why we have our boy Big T here. You seeing anything from a tournament perspective in this game that kind of stands out?
No, super easy fade for me. Even if Embiid's out, I'm still going to fade. Even Dwight. I hope he's out so that everyone plays Dwight because I don't like Dwight anyways. I mean, if he gets 25 or something, I'm fine with it. I don't like Dwight. I've played him a few times in those value spots, and I just hate myself. So not going to do it on a 10-game slate, especially with center, man. Center is just so good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of center options we'll obviously discuss as the slate goes on. But, yeah, this is just 76ers are going to be another team, honestly, all season long. When all three of those stars are in, there's not going to be many slates, full slates, like 10-game slates where you're going to have interest. There's just the way they're set up, there's just not enough to go around at their current price tags. If their prices come down a little bit, yeah, I mean, right now, Embiid is close enough to those stars. He's close enough to the Jokic's. He's close enough to the Lukas where I can't play him over those guys that can literally go out and get 80. And they've proven it. Like they have legitimate chance anytime they take the court to get 80. I don't feel that way about Embiid. So as long as he's priced close enough to those guys, I just can't see myself playing him much this season. Obviously things will adjust as it goes on, but as it stands now, I'm going to be off the Sixers when they're at full strength. We will get the news though on Embiid. He'll be that's the first game out of the gate, so we'll definitely have the news. All right, we're at about 500 people. We got 114 likes. We'll do 250 and we'll give out some gear. Let's see. Yep, we're at 114. So get us to 250 and we'll pick someone at the end of the show to give out to win a piece of gear. Also hit the subscribe button, helps us a ton. Two ways to hit the subscribe. There's a little icon in the bottom right of the video under titles mug. It says RPS subscribe. Just click that button, or the little gray box a little bit lower that says subscribe. Helps us out a ton to continue to bring you guys these free videos. I mean, this could easily be a premium show. I mean, you got a guy like BigT on. I mean, that has premium written all over it, but he's a man of the people. He'd rather be here doing it for free. So the best way to do that is to hit the like and hit the subscribe button so we can continue to bring you guys this show for free. So that'll help us out quite a bit. 250 it is. So 250 before we give out a piece of gear and send Tony to FedEx after the show before lock. All right, next game, we have the Raptors. We have the Pacers. The total is 218. Pacers favored by 2.5. And it's a game, it's going to be hard to break down at this point without the news on Lowry and Siakam, both listed as questionable. Probably the biggest news on the slate, whether they play or not. So if they're out, Van Fleet, OG, Norman Powell, Terrence Davis, Chris Boucher, or Stanley Johnson too, you bring about 6 guys in play if they both sit. If they're both in, probably not going to look to many Raptors. I mean, it's not a good spot against the Pacers. So, I mean, for me on the Raptor side, it's very simple. We need the news. If Lowry and Siakam are out, all those guys I just mentioned are in play. If one or the other are out, the guards would be in play if Lowry's out. The forward centers would be more in play if Siakam's out. Need the news. It's also 7 p.m. Eastern start time. We'll get the news. On the Pacers side, it's the same guys. I mean, I think you can make the case for Brogdon, Sabonis, basically on any slate. The price tag on Turner has come up quite a bit. I don't think I'll go there on this slate. Jeremy Lamb is in the mix, not playing a ton yet. Did get up to 28 minutes a couple games ago, came back down to 19. Doesn't have he's 4-4 on DK. I guess maybe you could make the case for him a little bit, but this game is for me 100% dependent on the Raptors news, which we should get pretty soon. I'm probably guessing the next half hour we'll find out if these guys are in or out. Tony, give me the breakdown here. What you're doing with this game here.
I'm still recovering from throwing up in my mouth when you said freaking Stanley Johnson's name.
Oh, he's the minimum, man.
Nervous.
He's the minimum. It's more FanDuel. He's 3.5K on FanDuel.
I don't care. He should be like 1,500.
Got 30 minutes. 30 minutes last game. You like minutes, don't you?
He needs 48 minutes, and he still won't get
Is he another Okoro?
Oh, my God.
Is it another Okoro?
I take 1 week off, Title, and you guys are talking about Stanley this game.
Title's got my back on FanDuel. He's the minimum, 3.5K.
On a 10-game slate, though, today, Hoop, I don't have your back on this.
Come on,
Title, get it.
But I will. Team. We've been boys. We've been grinding back and forth when Tony's been gone, and day one, he's back in the saddle. You're jumping ship on me.
No, yeah, this was a rare time, but hey, I will say though, Stanley Johnson is not a Coro. This guy was good at Arizona at least, but it's
there
the
we
NBA.
go. He's coming back.
No, but I'm not playing. But he's not a Coro. That
I mean,
no.
Arizona was a few years back.
No,
He gets you. Listen, I will guarantee you, if he gets you the world on the slate, if he gets you everything you want, you'd play his ass at 3.5K.
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll see, I guess, but I don't think so right now. We'll have to see.
Positions, yeah. He's
shooting guard.
Mangone play.
He's small forward.
Is that
a Mangone Limp Bizkit play?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. I mean, Stanley Steamer is never in play. Woo! I got her. But yeah, this game is easy to fade for me. If there's a bunch of guys out, I mean, you can go to a couple of these value guys. I mean, Norman Powell's look pretty good at times. But as long as everyone's in, I mean, these prices are really where they should be. Indiana is priced perfectly almost. I'm looking at even Sabonis. I love Sabonis, but you can't play Sabonis over like Vooch, and he's more expensive. It's just too much extra, I think. Brogdon is pretty expensive. Miles Turner, too expensive. Unless we get some news, I think this game is a super easy fade.
Yeah, I mean, we will get the news. It's the 7 p.m.
Mike said Stanley Johnson is the sleep on the couch play.
Oh, man, now I'm so motivated to find a lineup I love with Stanley.
Oh, yeah, I hope you play him.
Gosh, I want it bad. I actually hope when I get to making my squad tonight that I have 3.5K left at small forward. Slide my boy Stanley in there and let's let it roll. We'll see. Title. Give me the breakdown here. It's hard to analyze right now without this news. Break it down.
Yeah. Toronto's very hard to monitor, so we got to wait for news. On the Pacers side, though, not too much interest, but on FanDuel, it sticks out. Justin Holiday at 4,100 at small forward. He's playing 30 minutes a game, a little over 30 minutes. See, I'd rather try and find the 600 from like someone like Stanley or something and go to Holiday or something.
What an upgrade. What a freaking upgrade.
I take 1 week off and you guys are talking about Stanley Steamer and Justin Holiday on a 10-game slate.
All right, Tony, you got to judge this. What's worse, saying Stanley Johnson or referencing Justin Holiday as an upgrade? Which is worse?
I'm going to say Justin Holiday's worse. I'm going back to Hoopside.
He had 35 last game, and he had 40 minutes. The guy, he had 20. Then he had 24 minutes. He had foul trouble. He fouled out. 38 minutes, 35 minutes. I mean, anyone that's out, he's a good shooter. He's long. He can get steals and blocks. I mean, if there's a prop bet going on or something, Holiday's in play for sure, I think.
Tony might leave the show for another 2 weeks at this pace.
Well, hey, it's value. It's value if you need it. Obviously, this game's not very great, but 4,100 at small forward, I think you can do a lot worse. And I think he's a big upgrade. But hey, who knows? Other than Justin Holiday, though, I mean, I can't really make a case for any of these guys on a 10-game slate. Yeah. And I wouldn't go Justin Holiday on DraftKings. I mean, he's 4,700, but that's more than I want. 4,100 is a little different, but still, I mean,
if we get the news about these two guys, we'll circle back. I mean, right now,
I hope we get the news so you guys both play those two dudes. Give us the news.
You want to hear it? You want to hear round two of it? You want to hear round two of the conversation?
I want the news so bad now.
Oh,
well, there's no news for Justin Holiday. He's in.
That is true. Yeah, Title's locked in. Like he's already locked in. He doesn't need Title. Doesn't need the news. His guy's stable. I mean, I can at least backtrack if Lowry's
I'm not bald. I just got a haircut last night. I'm not bald. Stop.
He keeps it clean. Keeps it clean for the ladies.
It doesn't mean if I grew it out, it would get long. I guarantee that. I got hair. Don't you worry about it.
Just like this, Big T. Grow it out. Get the cornrows in.
Title does have some nice hair.
I had a bowl cut.
Yeah, that used to be in. Too. I had one when I was like 4 years old. I was seeing pictures. Don't know what my mom was doing, but I guess it was in. So
that's all me and my brother had was a bowl cut for like 12 straight years, and that's just
ladies
painful.
Loved it back in the day.
They did. Did you go like way underneath, like with the shave? Did you like shave it like way underneath? And
it was a straight bowl cut. Like it was just how it should be.
Yeah.
I used to shave my legs too.
Used to?
Yeah. Well, I don't anymore. I shave the balls now, not the legs.
Stop there.
Yeah.
Oh, good topic though. Maybe yeah, that's a good one. We got the Heat, we have the Nets, 236.5 total. Brooklyn favored by 7, and I mean they've shown some vulnerability so far out of the gate. These three guys trying to get it all together: Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. It just makes it tough when they're all in. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, not enough ball to go around. It's tough. I think Harden you can kind of look at a little bit more on FanDuel where you have to play 2 shooting guards, but it's going to be a situation most nights where it's going to be we need one of these guys out, or a special situation to really consider them, or their price tags to come down a little bit. I mean, Durant's price tag's still up there from his time without Kyrie, so not a lot of interest on the net side. On the Heat side, definitely have some interest. Hero will continue to be out. I think Dragic gets a nice boost. Bam gets a nice boost. Duncan Robinson. Nunn's
Got
played
Joel
phenomenal.
Embiid out, boys.
There it is. Okay, so that's we'll circle back. Actually, let's quick conversation, Tony. Talk about Embiid being out and what that does.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys said it best earlier, but obviously Dwight Howard's going to be one of the better plays. I'm not going to play him, but definitely one of the better cash plays. And all those guys, Tobias, Ben Simmons, everybody becomes a better play. I like when news hits like that as far as a tournament player, because I don't love that game anyways. It's a 10-game slate. I can find value in other spots. I just don't like Detroit sucks. Like, I hate playing guys in this spot where they could still just blow them out. And I don't know. I just don't like the spot. I have a feeling as cash guys, you're going to like it more than me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to avoid Dwight Howard now. I mean, they've shown the ability just to play him a lot of minutes. They'll run him out there and just kind of let him go at 4.2K. I think he's one of the safer plays. I mean, Title, what are you thinking?
Yeah, all these guys are now in play, cash tournaments. Dwight's probably going to be the most chalky. Between Simmons and Tobias, I always lean Tobias. I just think he can do more. He's a better shooter. I like playing Tobias a lot. He does it all, but Simmons is obviously in play too. Embiid, when you take out the best player with the most usage on a team, I mean, they're all going to get a big boost. Detroit isn't a very scary defensive team at all. I think they could easily have their way. But like Big T said, if it becomes a blowout, that's a reason to fade in tournament stuff too. And it's a 10-game slate. So one game goes to overtime. And even if these other guys crush, other people can beat them. That's the beauty about a 10-game slate. You don't need the absolute nuts to take first or any of that. There's so many paths to go. So cash games though, you're going to want some of these guys.
Yeah. And I mean, in the past, like, this is a spot you clearly load up. This day and age with all the news and stuff, there could be a bigger piece of news that comes that the people that kind of locked in this game are not able to access. So I think that's the point that Tony's making, and it's definitely a good one. I mean, it's definitely something to consider. But Dwight Howard's definitely going to pop, and these other guys become much more stable plays. Tony, talk about this Heat and Nets game.
Yeah, I mean, just one more thing about Howard. So the last time Embiid was out, I think was the Memphis game, wasn't it? Where he played 34 minutes, 39 fantasy points. I'm pretty sure. I've been out of the loop a little bit the last week, but I'm pretty sure it was that game. Whatever it was, I remember him crushing. So he's going to end up super popular for good reason.
Yes.
But I just wanted to say that. And then back to Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, they're another team where I just don't have interest in them when the three of them are active. If one of them's out, then the other two probably become in play. But you just look at the prices, and they're priced like there's two of them, except there's three.
No, that is a really good point. I mean, because that's exactly what their price tag's telling you is exactly that there's two of those guys in and one's out, and that's not the case. All three are playing.
And they're fine. Like, I think most games, probably one of them will crush, but how do you know which one? And it's just, I can find better plays as far as the studs. Wait for one of them to be out. And the prices just don't, I think they should all be like 1K cheaper. Like Harden and Durant in the low nines, Kyrie like 8K, and they're not. So I'll take a pass on there. And then Miami's another team where they've been pretty good lately as far as the plays. Like Bam had a really big game the other day for me when I played him. But after that, I mean, Nunn is priced up now. Dragic is priced, both of them in the 6Ks. Tough to pay that price point. This KZ Okpala or whatever his name is, has looked decent when I've seen him. He's min-priced, so you can always put him in there. But again, 10-game slate. I don't love this spot, so I'm going to move it along again.
You'd be very disappointed in me before I throw it to title. One of the days last week when you were gone, my first ever, you'd done a good job of getting us workbench plays despite, being out with, some family stuff. But the one day I did it on my own, my first ever workbench play was that Akala dude. And,
your only workbench play was
the first ever. And I think he had a good game. He had scored some points, and I picked him like 2 days later, and I think he got like 10 fantasy points. So thank God you're back. Hey, people weren't happy. Title, what do you got in this one?
Yeah, so if you're looking like James Harden 10.2K, 9.8K on FanDuel, but then you go look, the last 3 games, his usage rate has been 20, 24, and 22.
Yeah,
that's not good. I watched this game, and like Harden's just, I don't know, like probably trying to fit in with the team, good chemistry, being a good teammate, getting others involved, but that's not a price you're paying for that usage rate. All these Nets guys, like you guys are saying, I can't make a case for any of them with all of them back. On the Heat side, I mean, Bam stands out on DraftKings a lot, 8,500, Goran Dragic, 6,200. I like the pivot in tournaments to none for only 100 cheaper than Dragic. I think Dragic comes in higher owned, and Nunn's been absolutely crushing. You can make a case, I guess, in cash games too, but Nunn's been absolutely crushing, a good player, has a ceiling. So I like those 3 guys on DraftKings for the Heat. And then on FanDuel, I can also make a case for Duncan Robinson at small forward. He's 4,700. I don't love the play if you felt there's a last piece, but he's out there a ton of minutes, and 4,700 for someone who's as good of a shooter as he is. He can get some other stuff. So just the Heat guys for me, no Nets.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, and the price tag is just not great. I mean, one of these guys is going to have a good game. In terms of maybe a second one having a good game, it's a possibility. But for all 3 of these guys to have a good game, it's going to be pretty damn rare. So you're really going to have to pick and choose. I'll be off them. Definitely have some interest in those Heat guys. Before we head on over to the next game, guys, we have that promo code going. Workbench21 gets you 25% off your first payment at Rumpier Sports. Like I said in the opening, we're going to have a ton of Super Bowl content going up next week, maybe even earlier. A ton of shows. Some will be premium, some will be free. Our content on the website, obviously premium. But that Workbench 21 gets you 25% off your first payment at Rumpier Sports. After us tonight, JSU Holden taking you up to lock. Just a phenomenal show where they break down all the news right up to lock. And like I said, those guys do a phenomenal job of breaking it all down. So that's part of our premium content at Rumpier Sports. The promo code Workbench21 gets you 25% off your next payment. Next game, we have the Lakers. We have the Cavs, 213.5 total. Lakers favored by 11.5. These Lakers games have been good fades for the most part in DFS. I mean, they are, a team they're just kind of coasting. They're going to beat you most nights. They're going to limit the guys when they can. LeBron James continues to be listed questionable every single night for some reason, and he continues to play every single night. The price tag on DK, I think, is a little bit interesting. I don't mind paying 9.3 for him. Anthony Davis, 9.2. I'm glad DK actually finally did this, brought their price tags down kind of where they should be. When you consider the circumstances, it brings them a little more in the conversation, I think, at those price tags. On the Cavs side, I'm not doing it. I mean, basically full strength against the Lakers. I mean, really good overall team defense for the Lakers. There's some good games coming up later. I don't see myself locking into many pieces here. Maybe LeBron, maybe Anthony Davis. I don't know. Big T, I'm going to throw it over to you. You're the Lakers guy here. What do you got?
Yeah, I love the Lakers games because I never play them. Like every time somebody like lists the Lakers guy, I'm always stunned because they aren't even in my head. Like I completely just pretend the games aren't on the slate, both directions, because their defense is so damn good.
Yeah,
that the other teams never have good matchups, and they're on coast mode where except when they just fucking owned Title's boys last week, just boop 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 right on Giannis's head like usual. They had to show Giannis who was boss for a minute, but now they're back to coasting again.
It was a regular
tough
season game. That's what you always say, right? Just a regular season
Some-
game. It doesn't.
Sometimes they got to show. You got to at least be a little worried about you.
No, I'm and seeing with the Nets and interest in JaVale McGee, that probably worries. I think McGee makes that team way better too. The Nets. I'm worried for sure. I had faith in the Packers to get to the Super Bowl. The Bucks, yes, I'm a little worried.
They've
Not
just
gonna lie.
looked super shaky.
It's been a tough week for Title's crew.
I like
It's been a
it.
tough
though.
go.
I can respect people that admit it like that. I hate it when they just, no matter what, just deny it. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we watched all the sports. I mean, you can't be biased in this industry. Obviously, you have your teams and all that, but money over who you want is how I look at it.
Yep.
Anything stand out in this game? I mean, those Lakers, somewhat appealing at all for you, Title?
Yeah, the only guy I'll mention is LeBron on DraftKings. He's 9,300. Revenge narrative, if you want to even say that against Cleveland. I don't know if LeBron will treat it as any other game, but he's 9,300. He has dual position eligibility. If you need it, I don't mind it, but there's other spend ups I'd probably want. But 9,300 for a guy with LeBron's ceiling, if it somehow does stay close and he does decide that he wants to take over, he can break the slate for sure.
Yeah, let's head to the next one. Should be a really good game. The Nuggets, the Mavericks, Denver favored by just 1.5, 223 total. And we get, two of the better fantasy performers overall, Jokic and Luka. And this should be an interesting matchup. It's in Dallas. The Nuggets have kind of, we talked about on the show quite a bit, played down to their competition, and a lot of their games are close for that reason. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this one, Jokic and Luka kind of going back and forth here. The secondary pieces are somewhat tough. I mean, Brunson still remains really cheap on FanDuel at 4.3K. I think he's definitely in the conversation. These studs are clearly in the conversation. Honestly, though, you look at it, a 10-8 for Jokic, too cheap. For what he's doing. Luka, 10.7, I think, is also too cheap. I mean, this is definitely a game where you could see these guys go back and forth. I think it's a really good matchup for both these dudes. Tony, this is your squad, the Nuggets. I know you're probably excited for this game. But, what are you looking at here for, DFS purposes?
Yeah, you said it. Luka and Jokic. I mean, they're just two monsters. They're both averaging almost a triple-double. They just give you monster floors, monster ceilings. People continue to not play Jokic, too. And I know he got lucky with a few overtimes this weekend, but still 66 and 62, no matter how you get there. He just keeps putting up monster games. I mean, 5 of his last 6 games at over 60. His worst game was 56. The dude is an absolute monster, and he's just going to keep doing it. This matchup's good. He's going to crush. Luka, same thing. I mean, let me pull Luka, his same stuff up. I mean, lately he had a bad game the other day, only 29 minutes. Was it a blowout or something versus Houston?
Yeah,
it might have been.
So.
But before that, 66, 51, a 35 in there, but an 87, 63. Yeah, he's just a monster. And Denver can't guard him. He always gets the best of them. Just 2 rock-solid plays. And I kind of think they might be lower owned than they should be, just because people don't like to play Luka as much with Porzingis in there. I don't know. And one guy that everyone keeps playing, it isn't going to be popular tonight, but Jalen Brunson, I just don't think he's a good play when Luka's in there. And he's kind of popping even again tonight. I mean, he had 2 good games versus the Spurs and in Indiana, but I don't know. It's just the two studs stick off the page to me.
I think Brunson's more of a FanDuel play. He's only 4.3K, and I think he's fine. I mean, I've played him a few times over the course of the last week or so, and he's a fine play. I mean, I think you're more of a cash play probably. I don't think the upside's really there with Luka. I agree with you there on that point. Title, anything outside of the big studs here for you?
Yeah, Brunson more of a FanDuel cash play just because he gets you stuff. I agree, though. Tournaments, he doesn't have the most upside. And then I think Luka and Jokic are going to come in lower owned than people think, too, because it's a 10-game slate. And I remember I saw people in chat talking about it, too, last time they played. I know BigT and a lot of people were on the Jokic and Doncic stack, and it shipped all the giblets that one day for it. So They're going to be under owned. It's a 10-game slate, and they both have good. I like them more on DraftKings. They're a little too expensive on FanDuel, and then it really limits what you can do with the rest of your roster. But
Jokic on FanDuel, though, like with Dwight Howard now, like Jokic, I just keep playing him on FanDuel. No one ever plays him on FanDuel.
Oh,
that's a good point.
Yeah, he'll be like 2% probably on FanDuel.
Like no one's gonna play him, and when he gets, even say Dwight gets 30 or something, if Jokic gets like 70, it literally doesn't matter what anyone else does. You just got to find some value in it. It's just crazy. I just keep playing him, and I'm just gonna keep doing it because it works.
Yeah, it's perfect for a site like FanDuel. I mean, there's always really good center plays, and people are hesitant to go all the way to the top, and his ownership on there continues to come in low, and he's just, man, phenomenal play. I mean, he's been probably the best. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers and whatnot, but he's probably been the best fantasy player this season.
So why do people still think he's overpriced? Like they say it every game. Like they're just
I don't get it. Because it takes people a long time to adjust. They get used to something. They're used to Jokic at, in the 9K range on these sites. They can't readjust and realize he's better than that now. Like he is one of the top fantasy guys night in and night out.
And that floor too, like he's got that floor that just, if he has his only weakness is foul trouble. If he gets in foul trouble, maybe you get only in like the high 40s or something, but his floor is massive.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, but I mean, especially on DK, it's a night like tonight. It's got to be perfect for, someone like you, where Dwight Howard now is going to be massively owned. He's 4.2K. The ownership's going to be huge on him. If he just goes out and gets 20, and Jokic goes out and gets 70, which is very realistic, you're off to a really good start.
Baby, we got Pascal out. It's Stanley Steamer.
Stanley Johnson season. Let's go, boys. 3.5K.
Let's
do it.
Lowry in.
Oh yeah. See. Oh man, maybe I can't.
Okay, it's still Stanley Steamer season.
Boucher.
Yeah,
but
I will say
I don't even know if it affects Boucher all that much. They're like locked into his certain role.
Can't hurt him.
Yeah.
I think in tournaments, I like the Vooch and Jokic pairing on DraftKings because the double spend up at center on two great plays is going to be ultra contrarian. And I mean, they both could break the slate with the upside, and they're both price good. So
I like that call.
And that's why FanDuel, why Jokic is always more under owned, because you only have one center spot, and people are going to want to. So just paying up at center when everyone punts, that's what we always say about tournaments. That's what, when I play tournaments, I'm not a tournament player really, but when I do, how I try and get different is if I know everyone's punting one position, I'll pay up for a stud. If everyone's going to punt shooting guard, I'll play Bradley Beal, and then I'll do the opposite of what people are doing at center. You still play the good plays. You don't have to worry about it. You're just different because you just did one different thing.
FanDuel's been a printer all year too. I don't want to jinx it, but it has been a total printer by doing exactly what Title just said.
Yeah.
Pay up at certain spots that other people aren't, and it just prints. It's just like Bradley Beal always ends up low on that. That's good point, but
it's a great strategy. It really is.
Vooch and Jokic made my shaft move a little bit. I got excited with that strategy.
Oh, all right. We got 4 games left, boys. Before I hop into the next game, I just want to talk about a promo that we have with Monkey Knife Fight. Basically, you use promo code RUNPURE at checkout. You get $50 matched on your $50 deposit for free on the website. And we have a Discord channel completely devoted to Monkey Knife Fight picks. Title and Holden do some videos throughout the week, just breaking down some of the Monkey Knife Fight plays. It's been very successful. We want to keep it going. We've had a lot of winners in the in the chat and whatnot. So Monkey Knife Fight, promo code RUNPURE. And I got a little special thing for you guys tonight. I kind of looked around there before I hopped onto the show and kind of found something that I like quite a bit, which is related to the last game that we talked about. And it's the overs on Doncic and Luka and Jokic. Yeah. Thanks for the help. Yeah. Those two guys, the overs, it was like 52 and 54. Think, in this game where they're clearly the two guys that will go back and forth with each other. I kind of like that play. So head on over to Monkey Knife Fight, use that promo code, RUNPURE at checkout, $50 match, and lock in that winner, Luka and Jokic. There it is. It's up on the screen now.
That looks good. I got to lock that puppy in there.
54 for Luka on the over, in Jokic 52.5. Like, man, if that game stays close, I don't see how those
and a half. Like, what are they giving money away?
Honestly, that's what that was my initial thought. I'm going to lock that in, as we speak. I mean, I really like this one. All you need is, really, to me, you look at this, all you really need is that game to stay close. If the game stays close, both those guys are going over. So, and the spread, spread's only 1.5. So I really like that play. Get on over to Monkey Knife Fight and lock in that winner. Free winner right out of the gate there. All right. Next game, we have the Spurs. We have the Pelicans. Total in this one, 223.5. The Spurs, a lot of these teams, I hate to be repetitive, but, we talked about the Lakers. Like, we need something more. We need an injury or not to play these guys. I've talked about the Utah Jazz. Can't really play. They just have too many dudes. We need an injury. To me, with the Spurs, it's the same damn thing. Like, I need somebody out before I can consider any of these guys. They just have too many damn options. LaMarcus was cheap over the weekend, real cheap, like 6K and below on the sites. Played him a little bit, but now he's back up there. I'm not going to be on him. Need an injury. On the Pelicans side, I think Zion is probably my favorite. He's a fine play. Brandon Ingram is somewhat cheap on FanDuel. Thing with Zion, though, maybe you guys can touch on it a little bit. It just seems like his ceiling's not all that high. Like he's always right around 40 fantasy points, which is fine for his price tag. So maybe Zion's more of a cash play opposed to tournaments, but I'm just not seeing the ceiling with that guy. So for me in this game, there's not a ton. The Spurs, I'm mostly off. On the Pelican side, Steven Adams has a decent price tag on FanDuel. Same with Ingram, but they're getting back to full strength too. Mostly going to be off this game. Like I said, a little interest in Ingram on FanDuel, a little interest in Zion if you're looking for a nice floor title. Anything stand out to you in this game?
Yeah, so only guys on the Pelicans, Ingram and Zion on both sites. I think they're fine. In tournaments, I would limit myself to only one of them because they cut into each other's ceiling, obviously. If one of them can get there, the other one probably won't. So both affordable price tags on both sites, though. On DraftKings, DeJounte Murray at 6,500. I like that price tag. I expect a pretty fast-paced game. I think he can have his way, and he's shown a ceiling too. So 6,500, he has triple-double upside. Obviously, that's a ceiling game, but it's in the realm of possibilities. So he makes sense over there. If you're doing the balanced build, which I don't think a lot of people are going to do now with the Embiid news out, Siakam, and all this other news, I think that's a way to get different. And then FanDuel, if you need it as a last piece, I think it's a tournament play, so it doesn't have to be last piece. But Lonnie Walker's only 4K over there. He got 29 minutes the past 2 days, and I like Lonnie Walker. I know I've talked about him on the show and stuff too. He gets rebounds, can get assists, a freak athlete, can score the ball. So 29 minutes for Lonnie Walker at 4K. He could definitely smash that price tag.
Tony, what do you got here?
Yeah, first of all, to talk about New Orleans, so Brandon Ingram, I'm not a total game log watcher, but I do look at game logs for what I like. And this dude hasn't cracked 40 in 7 straight games. Like, if a dude is 8K and I look at his box scores and he hasn't cracked 40 in 7 games, it's literally impossible for me to click his name. Like, that might be right. It might be wrong. I know some people are on the other side, like, well, maybe we'll catch him on the ceiling game. But I just like to see some upside. I like to see it. And Zion's the same point you brought up. He might be more of a cash play because he is solid. You look at him, 43, 40, 43, 33, 42. Not much of a ceiling, though. I don't know, especially with Steven Adams stealing some of the boards and some of the stocks. I don't know if that ceiling's there for him. So I think that's a good call. It's tough to play those guys when we got the studs and then we want to get some cheaper guys in there. Tough. And then the Spurs, Title broke that down perfectly. DeJounte Murray, 6,500 on DK, definitely has upside. 76 on FanDuel, a lot thinner, tougher to go there, but 65 on DK, where you get those bonuses and different things that he can add on, definitely has upside there. And I like the Lonnie Walker call, even on both sites. 45 on DK, 4K on FanDuel. I like both of those dudes. I'm done playing guys like Aldridge. I've never liked him. He's 5,900 on FanDuel. I'll let the people with the optimizers play a guy like that because he always pops. I'm sure he's popping tonight on FanDuel, right? At 5,900. I haven't looked.
FanDuel actually has some pretty bad price tags. There's some really mispriced plays. So
you don't have to play him.
Yeah, I mean Draymond's like 4.9K on there. There's some
Those
really
are the
cheap.
two guys I hate the most. Like I despise those two guys. Like Draymond. We'll get to him in a minute. But
I loved Aldridge 6 years ago on Portland. He was one of my favorite players. He was so fun to watch in the low post, that turnaround. Yeah, now he went from one of my favorites to watch to not at all.
I mean, he's just at the point where, he definitely could pay off here and there, but when he has bad games, he's going to end your night. I mean, he's got 2 9-point games. I mean, that's shameful. That's hurtful. If you play a dude, I don't care how much he is, and he gets you 9, that's hurtful for a dude like Aldridge.
Low floor. I mean, clearly but they have, in his defense, they have had some blowout game, quite a few blowout games recently. Like if it's a close competitive game, he's done all right for the most part.
But I get what you're saying. Though is my worry. Like Keldon Johnson is going to play minutes. Vassell, they want to get.
It's a tough team. It's a tough team for DFS.
I mean, they even want to play You said it best. I don't want to play Spurs. I'm fine with DeJounte. I'm fine with Lonnie Walker, the younger guys. If anything, it's going to be the younger guys for me. I'm never – like DeRozan was super chalky last night. I'm never playing DeRozan as a chalky 8. I'm just not, whether it's right or wrong. Yeah. I am never playing – unless this is taking injuries out of it. If there's injuries, that's different. Last night with most of the guys in there, I'm never playing DeRozan as chalk in that spot. I'm just not, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. That's just not what I'm doing.
Oh, I feel like we've been on the right side of the Spurs. I mean, it's just not an appealing DFS team unless there's an injury or, a COVID situation or something where guys are out. It's just not – they just have too many dudes. They want to get involved. Like you said, even random dudes. Like they want Pirtle in there. Like they want all these guys to play. Not the best for DFS. Maybe it's working for real basketball. I don't know. I don't really care. So it's an easy breakdown for me on the Spurs most nights. Next game, we have the Celtics. We have the Bulls, 228 total. Boston favored by 4. And, they get Jason Tatum back here. They're going to be without Kemba Walker. Jeff Teague's only 3.7K on DK. He's going to be relatively popular. It opens up a lot. I don't think it's necessarily like a super high ceiling type play, but at 3.7K, he's probably going to play in the 20s for minutes. I think he's a fine option. It is a back-to-back game for the Celtics with Tatum back. It really brings down a lot of these guys. So for me, it really just looks like Teague on this Boston side. On the Chicago side, I don't know. I mean, Gafford's 3.1K. You can definitely look to him with Wendell Carter out. I think he's a guy that most times will grind out the value at 3.1K. Once again, another play. I think it's like definitely not a Big T play. I don't think Big T is going to be excited to play Gafford at 3.1K. Me and Title and cash games, we might take a look at Gafford. Thaddeus Young's been playing well. I'm really not on. I mean, it's a tough spot against Boston. I mean, I know it is back-to-back. The total is up there, but I'm struggling to find pieces on the Bulls side that I have a lot of interest in. These next couple games, the last couple games, I think we have some really strong plays. Not going to overdo it here. Like I said, Teague is fine. Gafford's fine. Probably more cash games and tournaments. Tony, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. I don't know. Like, even the Bulls, they have a lot of dudes. I mean, you're looking at the bottom of their roster even. Valentine, Satoransky, Temple, Gafford, I put in the same mix. I like Gafford if a few dudes were out. But if I know for a fact he's not going to play 20 minutes, like 16 minutes, 17, 15, I mean, maybe he's not going to kill you. He could get you 15 fantasy points, which is fine if it gets you all the studs you need. But I don't feel like you ever get that just ceiling game from him with the minutes he has, which I want in tournaments for sure. They just have too many guys, and Boston is another team that you just don't – it feels like we're saying this about every game, but this is how I build NBA teams and how we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Find some good spots you like, target it, and move on and stay away from the games you don't like. I just don't like this game. And sometimes it feels like we're oversimplifying it, but maybe that's a good thing because we've had a bunch of success doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of players make is trying to overexpose themselves and trying to get exposure to so many different spots. And, that's one of, your biggest strengths. I think mine too, where I'm, on a 10-game slate, I can say, you know what, the hell with this. I don't want anything here and I'm moving on. Title, anything stand out to you outside of those cheap value plays in this game?
I like Levine in tournaments on DraftKings at 8,600. I think he gets massively overlooked on this 10-game slate. And I always like playing a low-owned Levine because he has that ceiling he's shown. Plays 36 minutes a game, sometimes more. I expect the game to stay close. And if it stays close, I think it's going to be because he has a big game today. So I think he could have a big blow-up spot against the Celtics, and I think he'll come in 5% owned or something. I do like it more on DraftKings than I do FanDuel, though. 8,600 compared to 9,000 and how the positional eligibility and stuff. So just Levine in tournaments, but I'll definitely be overweight on that.
Yeah, that's a good call. You guys were about 20. Oh, wow. You guys are almost there. Five likes short of the first giveaway. We got 650 watching right now. If we can get this baby up to 350, we'll give away a second piece of gear. I mean, it's Big T's first NBA show back from his hiatus. I mean, you guys got to, if it's not for me, if it's not for title, it's fine. Do it for freaking Big T. He's back with us. He's excited to be here. Get us to the 350. I'm not going to look again until I get to the end of the show when we have the workbench, the return of the workbench play of the day.
Got a good one tonight too. I want to.
And he's got a. All right, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I got a guy. I'm going to say this right now, just to build it up to what you're going to say about the 350. I got a guy that's going to be 1% owned. That's going to be the workbench play tonight, guaranteed. Right. Well, unless news hits, he's going to be 1% owned.
Okay. Well, based on that, and the fact that you feel good about it, we got to get to the 350. I mean, I don't do it often, but today I'm going to do it. If we don't get to the 350, no workbench play. It's that simple. So
645 people watching. That's not hard at all.
Yeah. And while you hit the like, hit the subscribe too. It's very simple. 2 clicks if you want the workbench play. There's not going to be any chances either. If we get done with this, we have 2 games left. If we're done at the second game and we're not at the 350, no workbench play. I hate to do it, but
it's a good one tonight too. I've been excited about this workbench play all day.
All right. Well, there's
more reason to. I'm going to tease it even more. I specifically didn't talk about it, just like I did on the football. The football with Jamal Williams yesterday wasn't great. He did outscore Aaron Jones, which was good. It wasn't whatever. I specifically didn't talk about this play though, just for the workbench play.
Oh, baby, that's exciting stuff. We got to get to the 350. It's very simple.
I think the people will like it too.
Yeah. So hit the like. There's no second chances tonight. It's one of those situations where it's just too good to pass up. So hit the like, get us to the 350, and you get the workbench play of the day, which has had a lot of success. Next game, a lot of injury news. We have the Thunder. We have the Trailblazers. 225.5 total. Portland favored by 5. Portland's on the second half of a back-to-back here, but like I said, a lot of injury news on the Thunder side. No Al Horford still, and then we get the news that George Hill is also ruled out. So a lot of opportunity here on the Thunder side, which in a really good spot, I think. SGA I think is a very, very strong play. Roby continues to be a strong play. I don't mind Baisley. I don't mind Dort. I don't mind Diallo. I think there's literally 5 guys you can play on the Thunder side, which is rare. I mean, Thunder, not a good team, a team that we've kind of been off for the most part, but I think you can play all 5 of those guys and basically all 4. I mean, Dort is a guy that has shown some big upside. Baisley, I think you can look to. So strong plays there. On the Trailblazer side, in addition to all the guys that are out, Robert Covington is also out with a concussion. Big boost to Carmelo Anthony, Derek Jones Jr., Rodney Hood, Gary Trent Jr., Damian Lillard, Enes Kanter. I think there's Simons. Anthony Simons finally got going. I think there's literally like 10 guys that you can play from this game, and most of them I think you can play in all formats, cash and even tournament. Title, I'm going to throw it to you first. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, this is by far the best game for value, best game in general for DFS because of the injuries and the pricing. I'll just start listing guys on both teams that I think are in play in both formats. Diallo, Roby, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His price on DraftKings is good. FanDuel, it's fine. I don't love it on this 10-game slate. He's not one of my favorite plays to roster, but it makes some sense with the injuries. Those are my favorite. Baisley too, I'll mention him in the mix, but it's Diallo, it's Roby, it's Shai, and then Baisley for OKC side. Portland, Melo stands out a lot. Harry Giles, Damian Lillard, Derek Jones, and Enes Kanter. I'll even throw Simons in there too. 3,400. He had a good game yesterday. He's a good player, good young player, can shoot the ball well. So all of these guys, like there's 10, 12 plays in this game that you can make a case for in cash games and tournaments, but know it's going to be popular too. So this is where I'm curious to see what Big T says for tournaments, because this is the most important, except the news that we're gonna get and all that stuff. This is the most important game to either differentiate or eat the chalk.
Yeah, see, I mean, these plays are all really good plays, and it's an obvious spot where people are going to be on it. But I think the fact that there's so many guys in play here that you could kind of find some hidden gems, and maybe they come in a little bit lower than, we kind of project. Tony, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I mean, this game is good, and as Hoop knows, I mean, from doing shows, I like the chalk in NBA. I only need one low-owned guy to kind of get me different. I'm fine with building. I should talk up our stuff too, like the cash sheet that Mangone and Hoop do. So last week, as everyone knows, I had some personal stuff I had to handle. I literally, for the first time in my life, wasn't looped into everything with the news. I'm always looped into everything as far as sports. I watch the games every night, all the games. I'm always on Twitter, always looped. Last week was not the case. I was tapped out a little bit. So I, like everyone else that uses the content, was pulling the cash sheet up, was looking in the Discord, and building my teams that way without having anything on my own. Just such a good resource to use. All the info over there, the playbook, cash sheet, core plays. And I had a good week all week. I think I cashed 4 of the 5 just with that. I didn't do anything else. And sometimes you get lucky. Like, I'd build my team, and obviously I'm not looking at news. So if like news hit, maybe I missed some bad news or something and just left my team in there and ended up working out a few of the nights. But our cash sheet over there, just great stuff. I say all that to say, just it's okay to jam this chalk in there. Like Diallo, 3,900, looks really, really good. Roby, I think his price is getting a little more, but he's a young dude. I like these young guys that are going to play hard. These OKC guys, they play hard. They battle. They're going to score points. They're not going to get blown out as much because they play hard, which is what we want. I mean, even like Muscala is super cheap. Dort, I could make a case for like all these guys. And then you go to the Portland side, Dame is always in play. Enes Kanter against his former team. He obviously played there for some of those years against a team that has no bigs to really body him up. He's definitely in play in the ceiling spot. Harry Giles is 31. I'd rather play him than who was the dude you guys talked about in the other game for 31?
Stanley Johnson. Gafford.
Yeah, like I'd much rather play Harry Giles in this spot than him. But all these guys, Melo, super cheap. Even like Rodney Hood, who has shown some upside at times, 42. Everyone in this game I'm good with. You can play as much of it as you want. I prefer to play at least 3 guys from this game, probably, I would say. I mean, maybe 3, two one side, 1 the other type thing. Maybe more, though. I don't have a problem if you play more.
There's not many games where you can literally pinpoint like 12 guys that are in play, and this is honestly one of them, which I think will help out. I mean, a couple of the pieces will obviously be more popular than the others, but there is a lot of different ways to go in this game, and it's definitely going to be a good one. And it's a back-to-back for the Trailblazers, so I think the Thunder have a pretty good chance of keeping it close. So this should be a fun one. Definitely looking forward to it. The last one on the slate is another pretty good one. We have the Timberwolves. We have the Warriors, 225.5 total. Golden State favored by 8.5 in this game. And then on the Timberwolves side, D'Angelo Russell unlikely to play tonight. It's kind of weird that, such a big name is out, and I still don't have much interest in a team. I'm just kind of fading this Timberwolves team. I think the coach, what's his name, is Saunders is a moron. Like, he's really dumb and doing dumb things with the rotations. Their team sucks. There's no identity. I like the other value on the slate way, way better than the Timberwolves and trying to figure out what this idiot Saunders is going to do. On the Warrior side, I like quite a few pieces. I definitely like Steph tonight. I think he has a pretty fair price tag on both sides. I do like Draymond Green. I mean, Tony, I know you said you didn't like him all that much, but 5.2K.
Like, what do you like about him, though?
I think he's still building up. I mean, he's,
his last 3 games, 19, 14, 17. Like, what do you like?
I get it. I think with this team, he's still kind of finding it. I think he's going to get it at some point. And he's a guy that if he typically plays 30 minutes, he, produces fantasy points at a pretty high rate. And I understand it hasn't been great. I'm just betting on the long-term talent opposed to this short sample size. I don't know. Like, it should be better than it's been. Like, so I'm going to be.
He's like the perfect guy that I just love because optimizers just always put him in, and I just he It is what it is.
I just like the outs you get with him. Like he has a lot of ways to get there. I mean, it hasn't been great. I do definitely agree with you, but the price tag
But
is
it's like a
finally
big sample that it hasn't been great.
yeah, but the price tag's now finally reflecting it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It continues to go down. So
I agree with that.
We'll see. Oubre, I'm going to stay on Oubre. I love what they did with his rotation, getting that run with the second unit. Wiseman, I think, is an interesting play. Like I said, though, I'm going to be off the Timberwolves, and I'm going to like some of these Warrior guys. Tony, I go to you first. What do you think here?
Yeah, Minnesota has maybe the worst defense in basketball. I don't know what to think about this game because both of these teams are really bad. They've shown bad stretches at times, but you look at, I mean, Golden State is favored. They're like the worst team all season so far that I've watched, even with Curry. And they're favored by almost 10 against another team. That is insane to me. I can't believe that, but that just tells me how bad Minnesota is, which is the truth. All of these guys are in play for Golden State. Curry, Wiggins, Oubre, Draymond, even Wiseman, whose price has gone up slightly. I think he's in like a major blow-up spot tonight, Wiseman, against a team that doesn't play defense. And I like him a ton. Like, I would rather play him than Draymond for the same price. I know he's center, so on FanDuel, you're not going to be able to really play him just because he's center. Center's loaded. But on DK, where you have two centers, like I'd rather play him than Draymond. I think he's at least got a ceiling for me. But all five of those guys are definitely in play. And then you look at the Minnesota side, Malik Beasley has shown nice upside at times when he gets the right usage spot. And I don't think anyone is going to play him. Like Jared Vanderbilt should get some ownership. He's going to crush. This game's just good. I could honestly see literally just pretending it was a 2-game slate with these 2 late games and build just a team with the 2 late games. Say you play 3 teams tonight. Have one team where you just have all late guys and just see how the news breaks. Maybe news breaks and there's some other stuff along the way that you can add on. But you'll have a different roster and 2 really good spots. And I love that in NBA. Just pretend some games don't exist, and who knows what happens. Maybe there's a blowout in the Denver game, and Luka and Jokic don't get there, and different things like that. Maybe Philadelphia is the blowout. All those Philly guys don't. You just never know in the NBA. You don't know what can happen. So it just gives you a different roster build, which in 2 great spots adds a lot of value, I think.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Title, what's your take here on this final game of the slate?
Yeah, Steph and Draymond are my favorite plays on Golden State. It probably it probably is just a cash game. It's a price thing. They have the second highest total on the slate. Draymond flourishes in games where it's a fast tempo. I like him more on FanDuel because of the steals upside and the block upside a little more, but he is DraftKings playable as well. Probably more cash than tournaments, but I think he can get there for his price as well. Steph stands out on DraftKings more than he does FanDuel. 9,200 for Steph in this game with the second highest team total on the slate. Just seems like a smash spot if this game can stay close. So I like that play. If I do that, though, I want to run it back with at least one Timberwolves guy. It is pretty hard, but I would decide probably between Culver, Rubio, and Vanderbilt. And I'll say McDaniels too. Jaden McDaniels is 3,400 on DraftKings. He had 22 minutes, 20 minutes, 26 minutes the past 3 games. It's a 10-game slate, actually. I probably wouldn't go there. On a smaller slate, I probably would. So forget I even said Jaden McDaniels, but he is cheap. But if you play Steph and these guys, I think you need one Timberwolves person to run it back with because you're assuming he gets his 4th quarter run because he always plays the whole 1st quarter. He plays the whole 3rd quarter. And he comes back in with about 6 minutes left in the 2nd and 4th, if it's close enough in the 4th. So that's always how I approach Steph. FanDuel, the Naz Reid stands out too. He's a center, I know, but he's 5,000, and Naz Reid does have upside. I know he hasn't done the best this year when he's been chalk in that. So I think that keeps his ownership down. And the center position's absolutely loaded, so I don't see him being played. But I think he makes sense at 5K to get your roster different at 1 or 2% owned. But and Oubre, I'm glad you mentioned Oubre on FanDuel. I like him 5,200 only. And yeah, his rotation now, he took over Wiggins' 2nd unit rotation. He comes out earlier in the 1st quarter, then he comes in later in the 1st, early 2nd, and he just gets all the run with the backups and his usage goes up. So I like that play a lot, and I like his price more on FanDuel.
Love it, love it. Couple references in the chat. Solid picks. Laughing my ass off. Holding the plays hostage. Shake my head. Hate to see it. Damn right, I'm holding the plays hostage. It's very simple. Just come in and hit the freaking like button, so I don't have to hold the plays hostage. It's not that hard. You're coming to a show. You clearly like it. Hit the damn button, and I won't hold them hostage anymore. I only hold them hostage when I have to. Had to do it. Now you guys get 2 pieces of gear. Before we get to the plays, I'm going to announce the winners because you guys did a phenomenal job and got it right up there over the 356. My boy Brandon Remmer says Big T pulled a hoop and thought about the workbench play of the day while showering for sure.
I actually was too, so he's right. He deserves it.
I had a feeling he was right on about that. And that is, if you're new to the show, it was a Sunday morning. I hopped in the shower before the wood. I was, cleaning the body off after a workbench session the night before, and it popped in my head. I said, you know what? We need a workbench play of the day. That's how it started. That's where we're at now. So you win a piece of gear. Hit up Tony or info@RunPureSports with your information. Next piece of gear goes to Craig Turner in reference to the workbench play. Said, Big T, give the people the Crane 37X play of the day. Longtime listener, longtime fan. If you're not familiar with that comment, our old buddy Eric Crane, Tony and I used to do the show with. Any value play. If we had a guy that we thought would get 6X, 7X, every time Crane would say, no, that's not enough. That's not enough. Nothing was ever enough. So we kind of always joked around and said he needed 37X from every roster spot. Great comment, Craig. Hit up info@RunPureSports or hit up Big T with your information. All right, now comes the time that you've all been waiting for, the plays of the day. We're going to go to Title first with the fluffer play of the day. He's going to fluff up the Big T play. So what do you got, Title?
Yeah, it's not going to be probably as good as Big T's, but hey, Zach LaVine today is my favorite tournament play of the day. 8,600 on DraftKings. I like him over there. You can do it on FanDuel, but I think he's going to come in 2-3% owned. People are going to go to the other studs, and I think he can blow up in the spot. They're going to need him if they want to stay close against the Celtics. So I can see Zach LaVine having a monster game, and I'm definitely overweight.
Yeah, I mean, that's a low-owned play. I mean, I can't imagine many people are going to be on him against that Boston. That total, I mean, I was actually surprised when I got there. I mean, 228 seems like a big number in that game. So definitely like that call, low ownership. All right, we're fluffed up. We're ready to roll. The blood is flowing. Now is the time for the official. It's been a while, but he's back for the official NBA workbench play of the day. What do you got for us?
Before I get into it, I got to address two chat people. Dylan Moon says, "Has anyone in the chat actually received gear for real? I haven't seen anyone on Twitter posting the things." I've sent out literally probably over 200 pieces of gear since we started. I will say, though, I haven't shipped anything out in probably a month or so, just because we were waiting for more larges to come in. We've had a few things going on with the shipment. So it hasn't gone out in probably a month. That's why you haven't seen the pictures. But the list is updated. Like I said last week, it will go out, which leads me to the second person I wanted to address, Nick Story. Who do I get in touch about my shirt? I know you're on my list, Nick Story. You will get it. And the funny thing is you live in Kentucky, not too far from me. So you can even meet me at lunch one day. I'll give you a personal T-shirt.
Oh, personal deliveries now.
Just because he's been waiting a minute. Maybe he can meet me for some Chick-fil-A one of the days or something. But
love it.
Slide in now to the workbench play, though. So the people that have been watching the show for a while should know, and a lot of the people in the chat, they were dropping some hints in there. But when my man Jokic plays Dallas, Boban's going to get run. Yeah. He's not projected on any site, whatever site you go to. He's projected for a big fat 0. So there is some risk to this. No one's going to play him. No projection people are going to say anything. I hope they don't announce him as like a starter. Please just don't start him. I don't want that because then he will get some ownership. But, man, he eats versus Jokic. Last game, we talked about it when they played. He played 15 minutes, only got 15 fantasy points. But I truly believe it was a floor spot for him. He didn't get any rebounds, really. He didn't stick any easy buckets in. They always play him against Jokic. He has legitimately 40-point upside. People are going to laugh at me right now because this is a tournament take. It's what I do. This is why people watch this. They want tournament takes. This is a tournament. He's not projected anywhere. I'm giving you a guy that's going to be 1% owned. Yeah, it's risky. It's a tournament play. Don't play it if you don't like. He could get a 0 if he doesn't play. I will definitely have him. The dude in the chat that keeps saying you can't play him on FanDuel. Why the hell can't you play him on FanDuel? He's going to be 1% owned when he gets 40. What happens, Hoop, when he gets 40? Explain it to me.
Lights out, baby.
I mean,
go right to the top.
Why can't you play him? I don't. Why it doesn't make sense. If a guy is ever 1% owned and can
He'll be less. He'll be less than 1%.
Less, exactly.
Yeah.
Why can you not play a dude that is a tournament take play at 1% owned? If he gets 0, he gets 0. It's a damn tournament. Another dude said you can't do it in single entry. Like, why? Why can't you? It's a tournament. If you lose, you lose. We lose plenty of nights. When this dude plays 20 minutes tonight and gets 40% or 40 fantasy points, let me see the tweet saying the workbench crushed. Send it to us. Let's get to the top of the board tonight. Get to the workbench after.
And it's at that position that we talked about where there's going to be some.
So this dude in the chat. Hold on, I got to address because this is what 1% chance he gets 40. Okay, 1% chance he gets 40. If he gets 40, I'm going to have a chance to win a damn tournament. So what's the point? Okay, 1%. What's the percent he gets 25?
And if you're an MME person, it's simple because you're talking about a guy that's going to be in the decimal points, not even a full fractional point. He's going to be, less than 1%. So you're talking about, if you're MMEing, Tony's not saying like hit the freaking lock button on.
Not
on
even
Boba.
close.
Yeah. Just get some exposure. He's going to play. He's not projected. No one's going to be on him tonight. Sneaky under the radar type play just because, he knows his Nuggets. And when the Nuggets square off against the Mavs,
I'm playing one team on DraftKings tonight. He's going to be on my one team. So people that say you can't play him on one team, he'll be on my one team.
There it is. Love it. Great plays. Great show, guys. Head on over to Run Pure Sports. We have Holden and JSU taking it up to lock, breaking down the news. I'm sure we're going to have more news break as well. So that sort of thing is super, super valuable in this day and age of NBA DFS. So we're going to get on out of here. Good luck to everyone tonight in your contest for title, for Big T. I'm Hoop. Good luck.
Good luck, everybody.